Welcome to Ship Chasing. We've been promised a very feisty, inebriated Pat Crane tonight. Pat, you're tying one on before the show. That's the word on the street.
Well, it's tough when you grab drinks with a social media manager because then he calls you out for having drinks. You know, it's like you think you're just having a couple drinks with some friends, and then all of a sudden it's on Twitter.
There you go. What did you have? IPAs, sours?
No, these were cocktails. We went to a nice cocktail bar in Fort Greene. Got some mezcal old fashions. Got a couple kind of like cardamom infused type of bourbon drinks, and then at the end they offer you a shot, and you're like, oh, this is nice. You're offering me a shot on our way out, and then you realize, oh, I just paid for a shot for no reason. You know, it's like it's not. It's like another thing I bought. So that was a foolish mistake, but all in all, it was a fun night.
I was starting to think Belair was right. At first, I was going to clown on Belair, but by the end of that soliloquy, I think Belair was right.
I'm just telling you what we had.
That's the only thing I've matured about in life is now when someone offers a shot, I literally just see the hangover in the shot. And I think I rejected multiple shots the past few nights in New York. I just can't do them. They messed me up too good.
I never do shots. Although she offered us a shot, then I kind of like hesitated, and then she was like mezcal, which is like the only thing I'll take a shot of at this point. And I was like, that was the key. That's how you
Gretch, how are you doing?
I'm good. I was gonna clown on Belair a little bit and be like, hey, last time Pat gets drinks with Belair before the show, but it sounds like you guys had a nice little time.
We had a fun time.
Yeah. So we have waivers to figure out still that we wanted to talk about. Pat's drunk. Pete's exhausted.
But I'm thinking,
I don't have login access to some of these teams.
I'm thinking we spend all our money.
Yeah. This is the thing. I mean, we're running out of, bid equity with the prices. I mean, in a couple of weeks, it's going to be, we're bidding $2 on this guy, $3 on this guy. We're running out of money.
$3? What are you, crazy?
And that's when I actually won't be able to give away the exact bid amount, because you'll go and see we only have $13 left. WVU's liking your stash, Ben. Is this a new development here?
Yeah, I'm gonna shave the rest off. I was didn't shave for a long time because it's football season. I do that sometimes, and then when I do that, I'm like, meh, I'll shave everything but the stash sometimes. The girls like it. My daughters are.
They like the.
I've done the stash look a couple times over the last few years, and my younger one used to call it a moose stack.
You have a Substack and a moose stack.
I have a Substack and a moose stack. Exactly.
All right, people coming in hot wanting to talk about the Titans. We have McNichols. We have Joshua saying, wait, did Pat recommend the AP bids while drinking? Let's talk through the Titan situation, because Adrian Peterson available in every league, and McNichols available in basically like half of our leagues, I would say.
Yeah.
He's only available in a couple of mine. I think a lot of people were sharp, at least in the leagues that I'm in, and recognized as soon as Evans was on IR last year that it was a good time to pick up McNichols. I had talked with some other co-managers, and one of them was pitching McNichols for a long time, and I was making the case probably if something happens to Henry, Evans is the guy. And his exact case was, well, Evans can't ever stay healthy. And then Evans comes back and gets hurt again, goes to IR, and we didn't react last week. But that was a time, I think. I mean, it was pretty clear that at that point, now you want to be on McNichols. He's going to be – I mean, it's just a random lesson at this point. But
that feels like the leak, right? It's like we didn't pick up McNichols on Sunday a bunch.
Yeah, as soon as Evans was out, we should have been way more on top of that. And then obviously and I don't know, part of the reason I'm saying that, I'm in 10 leagues. 8 of my 10, McNichols is stashed. I don't have him in any of mine. And so I think there was a lot of sharp people that were on top of that. Leone, no one knows what's going on with our bids at all. Pat's drunk.
I'm not drunk. I just have been trying to navigate the NFC site, and it's broken. It's just straight.
Do you have anything you'd like to say to them?
Well, I mean, just respectfully, fix your site. That's all. Just respectfully, of course.
We do need to get Leone on one of these nights because our team over there is pretty nice. It's
pretty nice.
Well.
First place now. First place. And I don't even remember who we have on that team. Is that our Jonathan Taylor, DeAndre Swift, Jonathan Taylor? Yeah. Doing good.
Chase, are you talking about the NFC team? Chase is on that team.
Who cares about the wide receivers? We got the running backs, baby. Yeah. That's what we're all about.
So I feel like with the McNichols and the Evans, my take is that I feel like we kind of know what we're going to get out of McNichols, and that's very, very helpful for fantasy teams. But I feel like the range of outcomes on where AP is at right now is pretty wide. Do you guys think that there's some nice upside here, or is this just like, oh, he's dusty, whatever?
Leone,
I think there's a little bit of upside.
Leon, you send me the login, dude, so I can get in there. Just DM me it. Go ahead, go with your AP thing. I'm gonna go in there and mess around with the NFC bits. We have two running backs. I'm torn
on the AP McNichols thing because like McNichols, the heart says McNichols, right? Like he was like a pretty decent prospect. He's got a receiving profile. He got latched onto a team through the receiving ability, but they've never committed to him really for any real work. He's always been a guy that's kind of mixed in. They've always had someone else in mind. And then as soon as it's going to be his time, they sign AP like immediately. So it's like, how does he really have a ceiling, or is he just going to kind of be like a rotational guy? On the AP side, it's super gross. It feels terrible to bid for him. But like we see this type of thing kind of work out. Like we've seen the Carlos Hyde seasons. We've seen these 2-down guys. The team wants to run the ball a lot. We know the Titans want to run the ball a lot. So I'm a little torn. It feels like if I go heavy on AP, then obviously he's going to be gross. If we go after McNichols, it's going to be a classic AP situation. So I feel like, I don't know. I'm genuinely torn on this. I want to hear your guys' opinion.
Gretch, what's your AP take?
Yeah, I mean, so he's 36. It was really hilarious. My former employer, CBS, sent that tweet about the long run he had 3 years ago, and I had a little fun with that in Stealing Signals, just talking about the different things that had happened 3 years ago. Joe Flacco was starting for the Ravens in week 1. Nathan Peterman was starting for the Bills. Patrick Mahomes was a late round draft pick and was just starting his first year as a starter. It was a fun time. Derrick Henry had one career 20 carry game at the time of that long run that they were showing that AP still has stuff in the tank, and had 2 career 100-yard games at that point. He has like 1 million now. But yeah, he's a lot older now. He's 36. He was somewhat effective with the Lions last year. He's obviously a very good athlete. Still, I think has enough to be able to play at a certain age. Like, I'm not going to completely write him off, but he's 36. Like, that is incredibly, incredibly old. And yeah, I mean, the way that I see it is, look, McNichols was losing some receiving work to Henry. We know Henry was running more routes this year. He's doing some route running. I think that McNichols is basically going to run every route. He knows the offense. AP's the new guy. They're going to bring AP into obvious run situations and establish the run and do play action off that. He'll run some routes off play action, I'm sure. But they're going to, I agree with this take. If he looks like dust, I don't think they're going to waste touches on him. I don't think there's some lock that AP is going to have touches all year. It looks like a good fit, but like if he's not looking good, then and then there's the other side of it. We're like, yeah, they're probably going to keep pounding the ball to a certain degree. They are a really run heavy team, but some of it will shift a little bit towards the pass. They've been incredibly run heavy. And so look, like you have McNichols playing all the passing downs. You have a little bit more passing. I think McNichols' receiving role now expands, just like his overall routes will go up because of more attempts and a higher share, not a massive amount, but 10, 20%. And so his targets and his receptions will go up. And then there is potential for him to actually get some early down rushing and to get some carries overall, especially if AP looks dust. So you're like, I agree with Pat. Like, we don't know if McNichols necessarily has that ceiling, but I feel like he has the better floor. He's got the receiving stuff on lock. AP could come in and be dust or just be really inefficient or whatever. And I think he does have the higher ceiling if he hits it because he has the receiving stuff. And if he starts to work into the low value touches, that can be a really, really nice workload. Somewhere in the median, I would say AP probably better because he looks like he's going to be the guy that's going to get the 20 carries. And the way this offense is designed, those low value touches are going to add up. He could have 20 carries for 70 yards and you get 70 yards and have some TD equity, right? And have some games where he goes 70 yards and a TD. So I think AP's like, he feels like he's going to probably outscore him in the median range, but I like McNichols more because of the higher floor, probably the higher ceiling as well. I mean, I think those parts of the range are better for McNichols.
I'm sold. McNichols, I love McNichols. I'm rooting for him. Ben made a good case. I'm in.
What do you think about Foreman here? So Josh brought him up, and this is kind of, to me, the really fragile thing with AP, right? Where it's one thing if he's getting all the early down work and he has the goal line, and now we're just debating is he dust or not. But like if this turns into a three-way backfield and Foreman is now getting, I don't know, 5 to 6 touches, then like AP is just completely useless in that scenario.
Yeah, that's the way it gets really gross. And Foreman, another guy who was a really good prospect, Achilles tear, has never really established himself, kind of bounced around. He's kind of the exact same build as Derrick Henry, one of these bigger running backs, but hasn't had the athleticism post-injury. And yeah, to your point, I mean, he only needs like 4 carries, and all of a sudden Peterson's role gets way less interesting. So the fact that he got signed to the practice squad is not a great sign. It could be nothing. We see this type of stuff all the time. They sign a guy to the practice squad, it doesn't get promoted. Doesn't mean anything. But if it means something, it means a lot. Like that, and that's how fragile Peterson's role is that like he can't lose 4 carries to Foreman. So it's something to keep in mind, and it's probably not like a reason to really prioritize Foreman. But if you have the spot and Peterson is totally dust at 36 years old, I believe, then, Foreman, could be something for a couple bucks if you've got like a free roster spot to spend. I would say he's like worth considering there. I'm curious to get your guys' thoughts on some of the other guys that might be hanging around, like a Jordan Howard, Boston Scott. Like, where do you put them compared to the McNichols and the Petersons?
Yeah, Alex was asking about Boston Scott here versus AP. I feel like Boston Scott and McNichols is close for me. I still think I probably prefer McNichols because I don't think McNichols is going to get squeezed with his specific role from anyone, where I feel like there's still lots of ways Boston Scott's getting squeezed from Howard with short yardage stuff. Like Gainwell isn't just going to fully go away in the passing game. Week. Yeah, but I don't know. Do you think that holds? You think Gainwell's just like done?
I think he got demoted. He was playing a ton in the fourth quarter in a huge blowout. Like, I don't know. I think if you need a short-term start, I think I'd rather have Boston Scott than McNichols.
For sure. Yeah, I'm just not convinced that. I mean, it's not like they're the Patriots, but how much jerking around with Ramondre Stevenson, do you get? I'm just not convinced that Gainwell's in the doghouse rest of the season.
No, I'm not either. But you're only picking up Scott if you need him for like the next week or two, because Miles Sanders will be back eventually.
Yeah. Where are you at on the Eagles backfield, Gretch?
It's kind of gross. Yeah, all of Gainwell's touches were in garbage time, basically. 12 of his 13 touches. They went very run heavy, and then that worked. And so they actually wound up having the lowest pass rate of any team in any game all year. And the only team within almost 10 percentage points was the Bears. The Bears have a couple other games that are really low. But Philadelphia was right around like 30% pass rate, and there's only been 3 games below a 40% pass rate, 2 Bears games and now this one. And so obviously you don't expect that to continue. Like they ran so effectively, they just kept doing it. And I think, probably Gainwell's role was and has sort of been designed more for the passing game. And because they had such a tiny pass rate, that's a big reason why, Gainwell winds up getting all his work in garbage time. I don't think it means he's number 3. I just think that his actual role with the starting offense essentially never materialized. And then you already had a dozen carries for the other guys. And so they started using Gainwell sort of in garbage time as the guy that would run out the clock and get some touches.
Why wouldn't Howard run out the clock? He's like a dust ball they just pulled off the street. Like, why wouldn't they use him to run out the clock?
I don't know. I guess probably because they'd already given him 12 carries or something. And they didn't want to give him 30. I don't know. But or 25.
It's concerning. It's concerning to me.
It is a little bit concerning. I won't deny that. But Howard didn't play a ton of snaps. Was basically your typical, like in a 3-back split, or even if it was a 2-back split, was your typical early down only type back, where he's only in on rushing plays. He has carries at a really high percentage of his overall snaps. He's not actually playing on passing downs. Scott had a little of both, early down carries and some passing downs. He would have been the target for me, but he's already pretty much added everywhere. And then I think if they throw more, that Gainwell will wind up being sort of the receiver. Like we've seen that sort of a 3-back rotation with the Saints for a lot of years, obviously not more recently, but they used to always have that one early down hammer. It was like Tim Hightower, Mike Bell, those guys. When they had Adrian Peterson for a brief time, he was kind of in that. And then they had like the Mark Ingram who would do a little of both. Pierre Thomas before that. And then, early career Alvin Kamara was the pass only, or Darren Sproles was the pass only back. That's the way I was thinking of it. It reminded me of that, where like Boston Scott's in the role that would do a little bit of both. Jordan Howard's in this just like, I'm going to get 10 rush attempts and that's all I'm going to do rule. I'm going to play 14 snaps and that's it. And then Gainwell, I think, has the potential to run more routes when they actually throw the ball, but it was just an absurdly low pass volume game. They're not going to win by 40,
That's how I feel too, but it's just like then they used him to salt away the game in overtime, which just felt like such a fuck you to Gainwell.
Yeah.
If they hadn't done that, I would be making this case right alongside you. Like clearly he's just kind of in this passing down role. They weren't in that game script, et cetera, et cetera. He's Nyheim Hines. But you don't use Nyheim Hines to like run out the clock at the end of the game.
Yeah. Matt asking a question here about Tyson Williams, wondering if maybe they get him going after the bye. I do think that kind of cohort is an interesting decision this week because, we've jammed up our bench spots with so many of these scratch off running backs. And now the flavor of the week is the AP and the Jordan Howards or whatever. How are you guys viewing them in relation to guys like Tyson Williams or the Houston backs that we just picked up? Like, I feel like now are we tossing Phillip Lindsay back after this week? So how do you guys compare this crop to, last week's or the previous week's crop of waiver RBs?
It's tough with Tyson because I think he's the most talented of anyone that we're going to talk about tonight. Like if we were just talking about a team was going to commit to him as a 2-down runner, then he would be the most productive, I think, especially in that Ravens offense. But I don't think they're going to fully commit to him. I like holding him where I can. Coming off the bye, Latavius not practicing. But it's like you're kind of just like optimistically hoping with him, I think.
Yeah, I agree. I still do want to hold him though out of the bye and just see if anything changed.
I agree.
And we, everyone now the narratives out of the the rookie post bye bump, which I do think is a real thing. And so if anything changed or they had a come to Jesus moment with how fucking dusty Devonta Freeman and the rest of those guys are, I think he's worth holding. Let's see what other situations. Tommy asking about Taysom, who's now pretty much widely available in leagues and is projecting as a nice start this week. Where are you guys at on Taysom Hill?
I like him.
Yeah, I like him.
I mean, 4 starts last year. First 2 games, he rushes for 2 TDs in each. Second 2 games, he doesn't rush for TDs, but he throws for 2 TDs in each. Hits 20 fantasy points in all 4 games. Throws for some solid yardage in the second 2. Look, doesn't have Michael Thomas anymore. Not going to be good on the passing side, but I think he had over 30 rush yards in all 4 starts and over 40 in 3 of them. Like, you're going to get that nice base. You're going to get 30, 40, 50 rush yards. I mean, I was talking to Sean a little this week. He's a little concerned about the concussion. Like, I mean, he got a concussion and sat out 3 weeks. And he's like, look, anytime you have a concussion that you miss 3 games on, that's somewhat concerning. And I think he's right about that. If Hill takes another hit, his season's probably over. And it seems like it was probably a pretty serious concussion. I don't know his concussion history, but the way he plays, I imagine he's had some. But assuming he plays, and I would think that, he has had some time off from this concussion. I would think that he's going to play. I would think that they're going to go to him. We know that, Jameis and him were the the conversation all offseason. They're in a good spot. They're winning games. Unless they think Simeon's the guy that's going to take them to the playoffs, like they have a shot right now to be competitive. You think that they're going to try to do that with Taysom. They were competitive last year with him, and Sean Payton loves him, and he's talked all these years about him being a starting quarterback, and they're paying a bunch of money and all these reasons. You'd think that they're going to play him. So if he plays and he's able to stay healthy and not have a concussion or anything and play a good amount, you're going to get 40, 50 rushing yards, upside for 80. You're going to get, again, 4 starts last year. He had 4 total rush TDs that came in 2 games, but you're definitely going to get rush TD potential. You're going to get likely some pass TDs as well. I mean, I think it's bad for Kamara because he doesn't check down a lot. And he also he doesn't check down well is the other thing that I would say. I've made this point a couple times, but I went back and I know this offseason was looking at some of the targets between Hill and Kamara, and it's just like he fires these balls. Like when he does finally check it down, it's like 4 yards away. There's no touch. There's no understanding.
It's like Heineke. Heineke kind of does the same thing. It's like that he hates it. He hates that he has to throw it to the running back. And you see the guys like Phillip Rivers and stuff, and Rivers has talked about this. It's like, you're trying to throw it to the guy to actually help him get up the field. That's part of the reason why he's so good.
There's some guys that are super good at that. It seems like a not like a really important skill, but there are quarterbacks that are incredibly good at throwing to their running backs, and there's other quarterbacks who are incredibly bad at it. And it shouldn't be that big of a wide range. It's really you're throwing.
Well, it's one of those things where like if you're putting in a ton of time into like how to set up your running back with the perfect target, you're probably bad at like the more important targets downfield. But there is skill in setting up your running back with the ability to run after the catch.
Yep. Or just, getting it to him in a easy to catch way. One of the parts of it that I think of is like the guys like Breeze and Rivers that always had the great running back rates. They get down to that read quick enough that they have the time to sort of like dump it off. And some of these Taysom Hill targets I remember while watching, it's like he's staring downfield so long and then very last second realizes, oh, my pocket's breaking down. I got to find Kamara. And it's like, no, just like turns and fires the ball in this general direction. And Kamara had one where he's like, leaves his hands in the air. Like he couldn't even get his hands up. And he's Alvin Kamara. He's the best receiving running back in the league probably. But anyway, I don't think it's going to be the end of the world for Kamara, but you can't really feature Kamara when Hill's your quarterback. You have to run your offense as if he's your identity, Taysom Hill. Like you have to let him be the guy who is your offense, both as a runner and a passer, which is the whole point I was trying to make there is that's going to impact touchdowns. He's going to be in on a lot of their TDs, whether it's rushing or passing. I don't think there's going to be a lot of like screen plays that are set up that Kamara breaks for a 20-yard TD or whatever. It's going to be like Taysom Hill did this somehow or another, or else they don't score. But it's a lot like Jalen Hurts. And look, I think Jalen Hurts is a better passer, but Hurts has had his struggles passing. Like Hill can put the stat line out there on a weekly basis that Hurts has been doing. And
so, would you call Rivers back?
I would. I think they should get Rivers on the phone pretty quick.
That'd be so good for Kamara.
I'd call Rivers right back.
So good. Kamara's value is like hanging by a thread. It could be like way up here. It could be way down here.
Well, Pat, who do you think? Because when we saw Taysom take over last year, he locked in on Michael Thomas. Like Michael Thomas still had an absurd target share with Taysom. Do you think he has eyes for anyone in this offense, or is it just going to still be way too spread out?
I think it's going to be really spread out. I don't think they have that guy. Like he was targeting Michael Thomas because Michael Thomas does get open. That's like what Michael Thomas, he's good. He's on these option routes. He's running fairly shallow routes. Marcus Callaway's running all their routes, but he runs mostly deep routes. Like I don't think he's going to lock onto him. Traquan Smith is kind of an intermediate guy. He's not all that good. I struggle to think like who that Michael Thomas, Taysom Hill lockdown guy would be. I mean, maybe if I'm Sean Payton, I just put Kamara in the slot and hope that truly, I mean, you've got Ingram. That's probably your best bet if you want to get like real galaxy brain with it. But I actually don't know. There's probably someone he'll find. Maybe Traquan and Callaway are your best bets, I guess, but it's hard to say. It's hard to like really imagine one of those guys emerging like Michael Thomas did last year.
Yeah. We have definitely still lots of different situations to hit on, but I did want to pull up our team stealing signals here or ship stealing because we have some decisions we need to make on the waiver wire this week. The first of which is we have Hawkinson on bye, and this appears to be like the one team where we don't have 3 tight ends on the roster. Forgive us, Father Crackrock, for we have sinned. But first of all, who is our drop on this team? Because this is kind of the dynamic I was just talking about with the Tyson Williams, the Houston guys of like, are we still going to be sitting on these guys? Who are we tossing back? Are we done with Tannehill? Because
I think we could drop Michelle, couldn't we? I mean, I guess he's like the same, he's a classic. He's McNichols from a week ago, so you don't want to just drop the contingent value, but
yeah. And then the other thing is do we want to or we could just rock with Burrow and drop Tannehill?
Sorry, I'm texting Leone about our other league. What we're talking about our team, though, we got to get this right. We at the very least, we need to drop someone to pick up a tight end for this week with Hawk on bye. Yeah, this is the tough one. There he is.
Hello, Michael.
There he is.
Hello, Michael.
What's happening? I heard Pat got drunk and Gretch had to take waivers over.
I'm trying
and he's done a real bad job, Leone.
I can't figure out the site. Fix your site on him.
Yeah, you can't. Of course, you can't figure out the site, Gretch, because there's no way to figure it out because it's broken.
we want two bid groups, right? Because we want to drop Evans too, right?
Oh, do we have Evans? Yeah.
Good luck figuring that out. I don't know how to.
I mean, I just did it.
There's literally a fucking piss drop that you have to click, and then it lets you do conditional bids.
I don't think that stands for piss drop.
It does. It stands for piss drop. It says it when you hover it over.
The NFC rolled that out for the Piss Boys. They said
we're only going 56 on Peterson.
No, I think we can go a lot higher. I was texting you that.
Well, I just put it in. I wanted to be conservative because I didn't know if anyone would be able to see it because it's impossible.
Oh no, I put it the 56.
I put in 51 actually. So okay. there's
Gretch, I thought you said you added Carlos Hyde.
You sound good. Did you get a new mic?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, did you get a new camera and mic, Leone?
No, I've been working my mic setup. Every other show, someone tells me I'm too loud or I'm too quiet.
Oh, you sound great right now.
For a long time, I thought Leone's background was a green screen thing that he'd picked. The art room,
the craft room. He thought he willingly chose.
I didn't realize this was really because occasionally
I really dug deep to find this artificial craft room background.
I don't know if it's you have an AC controller thing, but something will kind of glint in the background.
All right, we have 16 minutes. And we got to get to our other team, which we haven't even looked at.
All right. So I should add Carlos Hyde, right? I got to add Carlos Hyde.
You got to add him.
What's the latest injury report on James Robinson?
He was DNP today.
In practice today.
So the other guys I said to him were Derek Gore needs to be added. I think he's pretty interesting as a guy that you could punch in and start. He's going to get some carries. He looked like their option to run, and they need to run with all the too high they get. And then the other one was Amir Abdullah. They ran him ahead of Royce this week. They don't like Hubbard as the routes guy. It's been pretty clear. This is a couple different guys now. They've been running more routes than Hubbard. I think Abdullah's in the terms of that, we need to start this week. We could put Abdullah as our fourth guy. So for me, it's AP and then Gore probably, and then Hyde and Abdullah are gross, but we could play. Hyde probably plays a little more with James Robinson banged up.
I don't get that Jordan Howard. I feel like that was just a fluke, and I'm just
fifth. He's fifth. You're right. You said that to me in the text, and I agree with that.
I feel like the Hyde one though is a nice binary one, right? If Robinson's out, I mean, Hyde's gonna be a top 15 running back usage this week.
That's a good point.
Although he is playing the Bills though, so it's gonna be gross.
The news on Robinson
so many targets.
But he had a really positive day, but maybe that doesn't mean he's definitely going to play. I've been thinking that many was going to play.
All right, so AP 56, Gore 32, Hyde 32.
You're saying
Howard
our exact
32.
bids? Why aren't you guys yelling at
No one would dare
put Abdullah ahead of Howard. It's terrible. I would rather play.
You want to put 32 on Abdullah?
No, don't put 32 on Howard. You convinced me.
All right, I'm doing 11 on each of those guys.
Yeah. Just Abdullah's a guy we can. Well, the thing I love about you saying that is we have I don't know what. How many weeks left?
I know,
we have $970, but we can't go $32 on a player.
Oh man, we're controlling the room.
We are not.
Mike, screen share this team so that people can see this team. If you don't mind.
It's a great team. We're leading the league, and
what are we doing in chip stealing? By the way,
Leone pushes our bids down to the degree that we've spent $30.
We're dropping Ryan Tannehill. Is that the right money?
NBA market projections.
This isn't what.
Leone,
that's not what I mean.
That's not what I meant.
Yeah,
that was the nerd equivalent of like a bunch of porn.
I was gonna say it was spreadsheet porn.
I was like, oh no, that wasn't what I meant.
Oops, you weren't supposed to see that.
This is NBA, so no big deal.
Okay. Well, these are our bids. I suppose we should look at the actual team.
I think AP we can go like 150 on with all this fab we have.
Okay.
Is this guy Eli in our league? I swear to God, if you guys just gave our picks away.
Eli.
Come on, Eli, you piece of shit.
Eli,
what are you doing on NFFC? Good for you, Eli. Eli, can you at least tell us how to use this site? It's broken.
Yeah, I just put in those dummy bids, Eli.
Go dark for 12 minutes and come back at 6:59 for Pete's announcement.
Eli says no, which means he's definitely in our league.
He's like, yeah.
Are you guys excited to start Rondale Moore this week?
Kind of.
Actually, am. Yeah. AJ
I'm dead serious. I'm pumped.
I'm gonna go do waivers in our other league now that we're focused.
Yeah, is Ryan Tannehill our drop in
He's one drop, but we
okay, get this off. I'm
need
gonna
to
adjust our
duplicate it?
bids. Oh, I guess I can do that.
I think we need one of our drops to be all about tight ends, so we get a tight end.
I agree.
Yeah. So the chat said Philip Lindsay. The chat said we could cut Philip Lindsay.
I agree with that. That's what I would do.
Yeah,
I don't love it.
Right. It feels right.
Lindsay played 15% of snaps and didn't. I mean, he's fucking done. He's
Scotty Phillips played more snaps.
I was trying to talk about this, but he got the carry in the second snap of the game. DJ started and got the first carry. They had 29 snaps in their first 3 quarters, and then they had 29 in the fourth quarter alone, and they were already down 38-0. And all of Burkhead's touches came in the fourth quarter. He was the 4th running back to touch the ball, but the first 3 quarters, and so snap share looks ridiculous because half of their snaps were in the first 3 quarters is all, and even the third quarter was already a complete blowout. So they barely touched the ball in the first 2 quarters is what happened. When Tyrod comes back, I still think it's DJ and Lindsay as the lead guys. It's probably not going to be worth anything though. So
all right, am I doing this bid group?
I got it.
You're in it.
Leone's doing the other one. I got this. You guys should opine.
I'm good with Lindsay. I'm good with Lindsay or Johnson. Frankly, I mean both are kind of. I guess.
Yeah, I'll cut Lindsay.
No, I like Johnson way more than Lindsay.
Yeah,
Johnson's playing like the Kareem Hunt role basically right now.
Who are the other tight ends we'd be interested in other than our top? Is it like
that's
Cooper?
what sucks is it was so bad after Cooley.
Yeah, I'm cool with the.
What are the names?
I'll pull it up.
Hooper and Njoku.
Njoku I like a little bit because he's that deep threat guy. They lost OBJ. Maybe they.
Yeah, let's put him ahead of Hooper. Let's put them both on there though. They're probably going to throw to both tight ends. I think one of the Colts would be great. Troutman, Akins, Mercedes Lewis. I mean, this is gross.
Akins is so.
Oh, Tommy Sweeney. I'll put him on in case
Tommy Sweeney's better than those guys. Yeah.
What about
Sweeney's snaps were just like Knox's were, but he obviously didn't earn the targets.
Great.
Leone,
even like Gabe Davis wasn't really up. It was just more targets.
Jordan Akins whisperer over there.
All right, I got.
If only we had that Brevin Jordan touchdown went to Akins, we would have been dancing with.
Brevin Jordan is
that in.
Under early declared breakout.
Svinsky, you must be new here, buddy. This is literally the premise of the entire show is chaotically putting in our bids.
Yeah, someone say it's chaos.
Thanks for tuning in for the first time ever, dude.
We literally do this.
Like and subscribe, dude.
I'm at home right now.
Hit the bell for notifications, Svinsky.
For the NFC side of things, it was like mostly my fault for not getting started earlier. But when I sent a note at like 6 p.m., I thought, okay, that's plenty of time. And then I get in the car on the way home from the show at like 9:30, and we don't even have a second bid group yet.
I did listen. So here's what I did get in there and try to figure it out. It did take me 3 attempts. I put in bids, and then you guys told me different bids were in. I sent you a screenshot, and then
I see the screenshot.
The bids in there, but those weren't the bids that then you read back to me. So somehow those didn't get saved.
Well, that's because behind your back, we had Gretsch go in and do some work.
What show did you go to?
Did you see those bids at least, Gretsch?
It was
I just
called
need to know they were
Visit.
It was all $1 bids across the board.
Fix your sight.
I'm guessing you never hit save, Pat.
Yeah,
I did hit save.
Okay.
He's drunk. He didn't hit save.
I did hit save. The little piss
guys,
drop.
I always love when like Dink had something today where he's like, "Oh, this thing didn't save my work," and I'm just like, "Yeah, sure it didn't."
There is actually a glitch in the blurb CMS where if you like one every probably 12 to 15 blurbs will just delete your blurb and start you over. And I was like, for the first 3 times it happened to me, I was convinced I just like completely messed it up and I didn't say anything to anyone. And then I finally mentioned it and they're like, "Oh yeah, that'll happen."
That's just part of the system, man.
Occasionally you just lose the blurb.
There you go, Leone. Someone else saw the same musical that you did.
Hey, look at that. It was good.
I'm glad you were able to get out on the town, Leone. You needed it.
Thank you. Appreciate that.
What did you? Well, the news blurb thing, because Gretch had that tweet about everything crazy that's been going on with the NFL news cycle, and I felt it too. Like writing the newsletter, the past 2 mornings, like the amount of shit to catch up on has been far greater than anything else. And Daigle tried to be like, "No, this is what we call a normal day and the news content."
Daigle's my guy, but I was like, "What are you?" He's like,
"Yeah,
try
that was
blurbing."
Daigle was like
this is
real,
just like any other NFL week.
That was like a real you think you just learned about the NFL? No, come on, Daigle. This was a crazy day. We could, it could.
I've been reading the blurbs every week for 10, 20 years. Like, I think this one is a little different.
It was a crazy day. But Daigle was talking about how with the IR. And then you get the IR period's only 3 weeks, and then you get the activation, and we don't know who's getting activated. And then all this, COVID. There's more craziness for sure.
Yeah, but it's like,
but this was a crazy day.
I'm sorry, Daigle, but an NFL player killing someone isn't the same as a guy getting promoted from the practice squad just because you have to write the same amount of words about both.
I know. Even just
that's not what Daigle was saying. To be fair to Daigle, that's not what his point was.
That's exactly his point.
That's not exactly his point.
His point is that he's having to write about all the news transactions in the league daily.
That's not literally exactly his point.
Then what's the point?
Quit gaslighting Daigle.
That was literally the point of his thing. He's saying NFL transactions happen all the time. This is not different. Pat, tell me otherwise.
I just know that Ben was really torn up.
Pat, you're so drunk you can't even formulate your thoughts.
I'm not that drunk. I'm
just
blown away that
the bids I think are good.
Okay.
But
Daigle's not saying murder is normal. That's all I'm saying.
Okay. Aside from murder, I did see that Gretch was pretty broken up about losing the excitement of Henry, is how he put it. So that was tough for Ben, losing the excitement.
You came into our chat already and were like, "I love how you have to."
I know, but I wanted to publicize it.
I know, and look, to some degree, that's true. Like, I obviously don't want to because of all the things that I've said about Henry in the past. I don't want to be like, "Oh yeah, he's hurt." Yip dee doo.
Okay.
But also on the flip side, I agreed with your point because you used the Buffalo example for you.
Dude, oh my God. I said so much dumb shit about Josh Allen that then when he was that second year when he was still not good, but kind of improving a little bit, and everyone thought he was improving way more. You just had to be super optimistic just because your priors were so negative.
The flip side
I was just messing around though. It really is.
I don't want to watch Adrian Peterson run 25 times.
No, Derrick Henry was
I talked about this on Stealing Bananas. I would rather lose to a team that has Derrick Henry and Derrick Henry does the shit that those people who drafted him thought he would do. Honestly, than lose to fucking Adrian Peterson teams or some other shitty player. I don't like Derrick Henry's type of player in fantasy, but if you believe in that and you pick that guy and he keeps doing this shit, we were talking about him on the same terms as Jim Brown last week. I'm bummed. I want to see how far he could go. This is, it's
it was the long runs are also it's just fun to watch.
It's cool.
Him,
he's
Nick Chubb,
cool.
those guys.
There's no denying from a football perspective, he's cool.
I'm legitimately
it does make
worried.
me wonder if maybe they should have spaced it out a little bit,
Yeah.
219 touches in 8 games. Seems like maybe I don't know.
it did feel like playing with fire a little bit. Like on the part of it was like, oh, it's Derrick Henry, it doesn't matter, he's just the Terminator. And then part of it was like, we were worried about him last year, and now it's like somehow 50% higher. Like it was.
Isn't it funny how like quickly your brain switches? Because entering week 8, I was like, this guy can't be stopped, and then you see him with his shoe off, and you're like, oh God, it's Gronk. Like Gronk broke down, and he's huge and impossible to stop. Like as soon as you see, and then you're like, oh yeah, of course the big guy Calvin Johnson gets hit with all these injuries. Like these guys that are the most incredible athletes that are able to move with such, move such size with that much speed. Once they get hurt, it's like, so the Titans, maybe, if you have a guy like that, you don't got to run him 28 times.
Could we run him 23 times a game instead of 30?
Yeah,
that might be.
But then the Derrick Henry stands, that's what they love about him. They're like, he just keeps getting stronger the more carries, and the defense keeps getting beaten down. Like that's half the appeal, that he's still going at 30 carries for them.
Yeah, and of course he can. It's like, of course he can.
But I don't want to say act like it was inevitable he was going to break down, because everything.
It's not inevitable. It's not inevitable.
Everything he did to this point already was defied logic. It legitimately.
Yeah, no one should be able to. I mean, 219 carries in 8 games should be like impossible. No human should be able to do that. Right. So that's already like an incredible accomplishment.
The thing was like, he kind of defied logic last year, and then they like multiplied that times 1.5.
Right. They didn't need to do that.
But
I think that's
Pat,
worth
you'll be happy I
criticizing.
have him in our auction dynasty league. It's just it's the
I'm sorry to hear that, dude.
The impending train wreck of which you have all my future picks has begun.
I'm rooting for you, man.
We have in one of our leagues, we have a $341 bid on Adrian Peterson. That is what I will tell you right now.
We also have a 40.
Wait, you guys only wanted to go to 125 in the league where we're have all the money, and you went 326 in a different league?
You just told them.
Gretsch didn't like Adrian Peterson. He said he was too old.
No, I mean, we got to start somebody this week is the problem.
I don't know if you're being sarcastic. I legitimately have a 300 McNichols. We can't start him this week, right?
So me jokingly leaking a bid caused us to actually up one of our other bids.
We got anchored to the joke price. What? People are bidding 300. We gotta raise this.
We're gonna outbid ourselves.
Who are these people paying 300?
We're slashing our remaining fab. Come on down.
You can't take it with you.
Everyone thinks it's so gross, but I mean, we have so many of these teams too, where we have DeAndre Swift as our anchor running back, and then you have DeAndre Swift on bye this week, and the available running back options.
Yeah, Jordan Howard versus Peterson. I still feel like Peterson, even though
Peterson over Howard for sure.
Let's get that bid up, guys.
Close.
Get it up.
No, it's
Pat, it's locked.
It's locked.
Get it up, guys. Come on, raise it up.
That's
just a bit. Raise it up a couple bucks. Just a couple.
Sean and I have a team that's pretty sweet. It's got I was telling you guys about it a little bit. It's got Tyreek Najee start. It's got Debo and Chase. It's got Hawkinson. It's got like Connor and some guys that can fill that RB2 spot. It could be a really, really good team. It's got Terry McLaurin. But we had Fields as of last week, and I had made him play him a couple of times in one of those really bad weeks early on. And we finally caught him last week, and we put in a pretty big bid to try to get Justin Fields back so we can actually have some quarterback upside to round out this roster. So now that's my big one for this week. Did I get Justin Fields back a week after cutting him?
I'm worried that I was talking to Reeves today, and he's like, he still only had 2 designed runs,
Yeah, it wasn't.
That's right.
And he's going at Pittsburgh next week. He could again have an 8-point game.
89 of I think 102 rushing yards on scrambles. Same shit.
I was looking at even Paulson's rest of season rankings, and he has Fields at 26 still, behind Mac Jones, Darnold, Heineke, Trevor Lawrence, Bridgewater.
That's overly conservative.
Tell it to
I
his
think
face,
we moved him out of our top 150 and
Also,
just moved him back into our top 150. So we have him like QB 16, I think.
Yeah.
But it's I mean, you guys have heard me say this before, but like the stretch of games he had, like a modern day quarterback should not score that low, let alone like any modern day quarterback, let alone a guy that we think should run and have upside.
Yeah.
Well, what's the Nagy take? Like, what is he? I mean, is he actually going to call plays going forward? It's so stupid.
Hopefully not.
Well, that's what you wonder if it's just a little fluky, though. You know, he scrambled a lot more. There were only 2 designed runs. Like, it's easy to latch onto that narrative, but how much did it really have anything to do with Fields playing better?
I mean, I made a pretty strong case in signals. My take is this is certainly confirmation bias, because my take before was that it felt like he was playing really tight. It felt like he was like overthinking. It was being overcoached. He was not playing like he played in the preseason, because he played really loose in the preseason to my eye. And he was scrambling more because of that, willing to take more shots and stuff. And everything in the first few really bad games were hit the back foot of the drop and get the ball out to a curl. You know, get the ball out to a 6-yard curl that's covered.
We're starting Derek Gore.
That's not bad. Nagy is out of the building, not just for the game, but for part of the week. And then Fields actually looks really comfortable again. Like, he played loose. That's the thing that I would say with the scrambling and everything. He looked like the preseason. He looked willing to kind of try to make plays and trust his own athleticism over like seeming to overthink or seeming to try to like fit some scheme or something. It's you know, you don't know what the presence is in the building or anything like that. But not having Nagy in the building, I think, for the preparation week was probably just as important. Like, just think about, I mean, look at Nagy in press conferences. He's showing up and he's saying, you know, everything runs through me. And that's the last time I'm going to answer a question about who's calling the plays and all this bullshit where he's like, I mean, just like from a human perspective, when you're a rookie quarterback, not having that presence in the building for a week probably is going to loosen things up a little bit. And then you go out and you play that way. I don't know. I'm connecting those dots.
Why is he back at all?
Yeah, just fire his ass.
Just fire his ass. I mean, literally, you've got a rookie quarterback you took in the first round. He's sucked ass. The guy takes a week off and he looks great. Fire the coach. Like, it's not that hard. The coach is already like on his last leg anyway. Just get rid of him.
Yeah, really. Honestly, they'd be in a way better position. This is a great call. It's his ego. I mean, I don't know if the great call that it's bigger than his forehead is necessarily the way to frame it, but he seems like a big ego type when you see him in press conferences and stuff. And so you have to imagine that's not that different behind the scenes, you know?
He won't even like answer basic questions.
Yeah.
Like, what are you going to do? Who's calling plays? Like, he wouldn't answer basic questions about his own COVID. Like, when do you think he'll be able to get back? Like, what's, you know?
And he's been this way. Remember the first year he was there, they lost on the kick, and the whole offseason was like, we're going to shut down practice to do practice game-winning field goals, and then we're going to cut the kicker if he misses the field goal. Remember all this like theatrics in the offseason? Yeah. Remember all that
because
shit?
They were convinced that they only didn't win. They were like this amazing team that just had a bad kicker. But it's like, no, you like somehow got this far with Mitch Trubisky, who might actually also be great. Like, Mitch Trubisky might be like secretly really good, and just Matt Nagy ruined him. I'm now starting to think
he wouldn't say. Oh, he wouldn't say where he was. He was like, I can't tell you guys that. They asked him where he was, and he said, I can't tell you guys that. I mean, that's the shit you're talking about. Like, you don't want that presence around a rookie quarterback who clearly did play tight and does like respond negatively to that type of presence. I just wish Fields could play under somebody who's like a fun, exciting coach, like a fucking Sean McVay, or even like I don't even think Cliff Kingsbury's a good coach, but somebody who's young, Kyle Shanahan, whoever the fuck, right? Just somebody who's willing to like try some things and be like, look, we want you to play to your abilities and to your athleticism, make plays, do your shit, do your thing. I think he would thrive.
It's crazy to me that basically every team isn't fighting tooth and nail for the young, promising offensive coordinators. Like, why wouldn't that be the only thing you want to hire? Like, that's the only path, really.
Kellen Moore 100% needs to be a head coach this year. 100%.
You know, Brian Daboll is the guy that comes to my mind. Like, it's crazy to me that he isn't already.
I think Joe Brady's another one that's in the conversation.
Joe Brady for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Uh-oh. There's someone in chat accusing you guys of being part of the Justin Fields.
Wait, this is the October 30th guy.
Industry or complex.
I remember his handle for something this summer. Sam posted the clip. He just had his day a couple days ago. Well,
he's grumpy now. It's almost a full year till he gets another one.
I'm happy to report in ship stealing we got Albert Akuibuna.
I'm sure we did. You put it in there for $70.
I mean, he was the only.
We didn't have a tight end.
We did have a tight end, and everyone else was trash. Trust the process, Ben.
I do think it's a little crazy that like the idea of defending this quarterback who was taken in the first round over this terrible coach who's not using him correctly very clearly is like somehow an outlier opinion. But okay, have a good day.
I still don't get why Carolina and Denver didn't take Fields. Just
yeah, Fields with Denver would have been really fun.
But what's funny is Nagy, when he first came over, was kind of like this quote unquote offensive genius.
Yeah, I mean,
like in theory, I'm not saying he was, but he had that first year with
drafting guys, right? Like you draft, like if you're drafting the like positions that are going to hit at a higher probability, like they're not all going to hit, but like you still take your shots with these offensive coordinators, and like you're still going to bust. Like there's still going to be a bunch of them who suck. But you like hope that you hit on the next young offensive guy, and then you keep churning through them. But I don't know, like the Patricias of the world, like what are you doing? Like, what's the upside of a Patricia?
What's hysterical about that is his defenses weren't even good in New England.
Right.
Like the team won, but it wasn't because
it's like a mentality guy. Like he's got a tough mentality or something. I genuinely don't understand what the appeal is.
So you guys
from like an actual winning perspective.
One of our AP bids for 341 was a lot. There, I mean, the FFPC crew was going to love AP more than we were, as evidenced by this $510 bill in our league with Chris here. We did get Taysom with an aggressive 104 bid. Anything, Jamal Agnew, you hate to see it, 282. Someone still believes in Tyson Williams, $35. Anything else interesting here? Brian Edwards, 178. We were about right in line here. This was similar to our.
We got the wide receiver 2 on the Jets.
Is that a Ty Johnson joke?
Yep.
Dude, the bids are posting in some leagues, but not others.
Yeah,
that's common.
You gotta look on your phone.
Yeah,
fix your phone.
Fix your site.
Fix your phone.
All right, here's another one coming in from Sam, AP 503. So we're starting to see that kind of the range. We bid 69.
Why would you spend 50% of your fab on this dude?
I mean, there's not a ton of time left in the season.
It's a Hall of Famer, Brent.
Yeah.
Nice to see our guy more cowbell putting 39 on Ramondre.
Am I Brent now?
I mean, won the MVP, Brent.
He did. He's a former MVP winner.
Snuck a Cooley here for 11.
Fucking Brent.
There's your guy, Brevin Jordan, $1.
Rex Burkhead for 69, though. You guys.
Nice.
Good luck.
Are you not sincerely wishing us good luck, Ben?
I mean, read Stealing Signals, maybe. God, jeez. Pick up a newsletter, bro.
What was your take?
I was giving it earlier. He had all of his touches in the fourth quarter of a 38-0 blowout. He's the fourth running back on their team to touch the ball. But he ended up with this like really strong snap share because they had half of their plays in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They didn't do anything the first 3 quarters. They sucked. Well, I don't think he like had his role grow. I just think they had this weird game where half of their snaps came in garbage time in the fourth quarter. They got an onside kick. They had all this shit. I would legitimately just turn around and cut him on Monday or Sunday.
We need a body to start at running back, and there are not many bodies out there.
He's gonna get 2 touches.
Rex Burkhead. You do not like Rex.
Well, I mean, he was the 4th running back on the team to touch the ball.
All right.
I'm just saying, I'm saving you from yourself here. Don't start him.
I mean, all right. I'll let Sam defend our bid for us. Here, okay. Adrian Peterson was in basically every league, $500 to $525. Miami defense, 55. we got Derek Gore for $1 in this league. That seems fine.
Got Justin Fields back and got Taysom Hill on that team.
Justin Fields, just fucking cut him by Sunday.
I didn't make the bid. Sam says, "Who did? It wasn't me."
You know what?
Because
I'm the one who does the bids now. Pat, you never do the bids anymore. It's all on me. Admit it.
Pete has been taking the lead for the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Yep. Fucking right click, open 17 tabs, and then just put on the hard hat and get to work. Someone's got to do work around here.
Oh, there's this question here about why did David Johnson get nothing? He got the start. He got the carry in the first snap. I'm going to pull up real quick what they had in their first half for running back touches. But again, the point is they essentially did not have any plays in the entire first half. And then when the game was in, like, it was all garbage time, their entire game. But he and Lindsey both had 2 carries in the first half, and they basically didn't play in the second half because it was 38-0 or whatever. For anyone who actually wants to know like what to do with these guys, I want to wait until they have a game where they actually run some plays in neutral script and in a reason. Like, yeah, they both had 2 carries in the first half, and Scotty Phillips had 1 in the first half. He was the 3rd running back. That was it. They had 5 carries in the entire first half. I mean, they just
Pete,
atrocious game.
Josh is asking if you can pull up his blurry.
I just did. So this is Essentials. Very nice screenshot there. Or no, sorry, this is Josh's. Josh's screenshot is really nice. This is Essential.
Wow.
So blurry.
So it's Essential who's been the problem this whole
Essential is the issue.
Okay. Josh, sorry we lumped you in with Essential here.
Fix your screenshot.
Fix your phone.
This team's gonna have legs. I'm excited about this fucking team. Fields and Hill, that's 2 legit upside quarterbacks, boys. 2 of them.
1.5.
Who's the half?
You know.
Oh,
we just talked about it.
Fucking tell me Fields is the half.
Fields is the half. I hope not, man. Dude, I got one of my best ball teams is a Darnold Fields Lance team. And I'm just like clinging to like, come on, Fields and Lance. Like, we need San Francisco to lose these next 2 games against Arizona and the Rams.
Yeah. I was so mad when they won last week.
Yeah.
Another really blurry screenshot from Silas. I mean, what's going on, Silas?
Was that blurry?
$4.99. That's how you know it's a boomer bid. Didn't go to 500. Went to $4.99.
McNichols
wouldn't 500 even be more of a boomer bid than $4.99? I feel like.
Yeah.
Why is $4.99 better? Well, like you could win a tiebreaker on 500. $4.99. You're just like giving up $3. You're never gonna win.
Yeah, I think 500 is a better bid.
But it's
I
more.
Just feel
it's
like
more of a
I feel like
bid.
someone putting in a 500 flat is like a boomer bid, but I don't know.
Round numbers are very.
I'm a 501 guy.
I'm a 501.
Yeah, 501 was the correct. The 503 was the correct bid.
Right.
I like a 503. I love a 503.
I'm sometimes a 507 guy. I'm just.
I'll go 505. 507 feels like we might as well go 511 now.
Sometimes I'll do 508. Sometimes I'll do
512. I've done
509.
512 before.
I've done 512 before. Yeah. 516.
I feel like this is from a movie and I can't place it. Like,
Can we just talk about how bad this take is from Barry? DeAndre Swift sucks. I mean, Barry, like, what kind of take is this, dude?
Next week is too late. For what?
The
Lions downhill running back with Jamar.
I actually think Jamar Jefferson's a reasonable stash, but obviously the logic there is a little bit flawed.
Well, Jamal Williams isn't out for like a long time.
Yeah, it's just that this is an offense that generates a ton of high-value touches. So if one of them does have a long-term injury, Jamar Jefferson gets to play some, he'll probably have some reasonable play. Like, I think the same way that I've been talking about Wayne Gallman being somewhat interesting, I think Jamar Jefferson's reasonably interesting as a last guy $1 stash, not because Swift sucks.
Dude, everyone.
Well, we just picked him up in our FFPC main event for the ETR team. So,
Jamar?
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, but Barry's a co-owner there, so
just
makes sense.
It was like our 6th bid, and as usual, I was too conservative on bidding. I'm gonna roll all this fab money over to next year. It's fine.
I will say we were talking about AP and Jordan Howard in the same conversation, and then you see Adrian Peterson go for 593 and Jordan Howard go for $1. That disparity probably shouldn't be that big between.
Probably
those
not
two.
that wide. Wow.
Goodness.
The chat is not fans of Barry.
Nah, Barry's good, dude.
Barry's a good dude.
Yeah.
Barry,
he has, one of the more interesting lifestyles in all of the world.
he goes on sex tours to Thailand whenever he gets a chance. Just to catch up the audience.
I wonder how. I would
That
like
is
to
interesting.
hear how Barry's life has been impacted by the pandemic, because I feel like maybe a lot or maybe not at all. It feels like a large swing.
I don't know much about Barry, but I think he's kind of just plowing through and not worrying too much.
Yeah, that seems like the safe money there.
Barry used to send me videos that I never asked
January
for.
12th in the chat.
Barry,
when was the previous Thailand trip? Before this. Or
very nice. What a screen name.
have you seen the man's? There's the photo of the girl that has the 2 man's coins covering her nipples. That was the girl Barry was with. Yeah.
Wow, legend.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Barry.
All right, Barry.
Good lord, dude.
I love this selfie Barry's got too. It's like he looks like he's surprised that the camera took the picture.
It does. It's a great selfie.
My goodness. Gretch, you told me you were fired up tonight. Let's get
I mean, I've been fired up.
You're right. I told me I was a donkey for my Rex Burkhead play. What else do we got in the chamber?
Yeah, I mean, we got some stuff in the chamber for sure. You guys didn't rate stealing signals, so let's just give away the goods a little bit. This was a fun week. I had some good shit on there.
What happened with the Eagles?
I talked about that. They had a 30% pass rate. They just fucking ran the ball every single play. It was insane. It was
that was the lowest pass rate of the entire season?
By a lot, dude. There's been three games under 40%, and they were at 30.6. It's kind of like when you actually sit and think about that, like that's 10 full fucking percentage points.
Wow.
And the range is like 40 to what, like 65? Like it's a 25 percentage point range, and they're 10 percentage points. There's 2 other teams that have been under 40, and it's the Bears both times with Fields at like 33 one game, 38 one game. But most every team has not even gotten below 40 ever. And they were way down at 30. I mean, just an absurd number.
They've shifted towards the run in like a big, like clear effort way. They shifted toward the run against the Bucs a few weeks back, and they were heavily tilted toward the pass before that. And then they get a pass funnel and they shift toward the run. I think it's been 3 weeks now. They've been run heavy.
And the reason I know that, I should say, is Leone sent me some cool pass rate over expectation stuff on a weekly basis, and I've been digging into it. And there was some awesome shit on that this week. There was that. There was the Jets had their highest pass rate over expectation with Mike White, right? They threw their most passes of the season by like 7. They also had their fewest air yards of the season by like 90 because he had a 3.5 ADOT. They just threw short the entire time. He threw the most passes, but their air yards were not even 200 air yards on 50 passes or whatever.
But also Zach Wilson's just chucking deep to no one. Like that, some of those Zach Wilson air yards are bullshit.
Yeah, but
Peter,
still,
pull
it's
that
a completely
comment
different offense. It's a completely different offense. Like I took the over on Thursday Night Football because they're going to probably throw a ton against the Colts again, who are sort of a pass model.
Holy shit.
Oh, that's good. I was actually Dr. Eggman. My kids were Tails and this Amy girl from Sonic. My wife was Sonic, and I was Dr. Eggman. So the mustache came in handy.
We should actually talk about this one. Antonio Gibson, Jarrett Patterson led them in carries, right? This past week. Are we worried about Gibson potentially getting shut down? Like, why did he even suit up if he's not going to lead the team in carries?
Shut down.
He should get shut down. Yeah.
Yeah. So the issue there was season low 33% snap share, season low 33% running back touch share. The week before, his touch share was fine. It was like 60% or something. The week before that, it was 40%. Those are the only 2 games he's been under 50% all year, and it's like every other week right now. So like 3 weeks ago it was 40, then it was back up, then it was back down to 33%, and it was clear as part of the game plan. Patterson got 3 touches on the first drive. Gibson got the first carry, but that was the only touch he had on the first drive. He it was all 3 backs touched the ball in the first drive. So they basically were just like, yeah, this week we're going to play Jarrett Patterson more, and they all end up with 11 touches.
Why not just sit him? Why not just
they should just sit his ass. Yeah,
it's crazy.
That was
one for sure.
The
Panthers, an interesting one on the pass rate stuff. They had their lowest pass rate over expectation by a ton. The 4th lowest pass rate over expectation of the season. The Eagles, by the way, this is a hilarious, Pat. You'll love this. This is how low their pass rate was. 3rd lowest expected pass rate, 2nd lowest pass rate over expectation of the season for any team. Even though they had that low of an expected pass rate, they still had the 2nd lowest pass rate over expectation. They were way, way below it still. But the Panthers were the 4th lowest of the whole season. And Darnold's ADOT cratered. They have been talking about running more, and they tried it in the Giants game, and they lost. But they definitely did it last week. I think that the Panthers offense is like gross now.
He might not even play this week, right? I think we don't even have him projected in right now.
Yeah.
We have Walker as the projected QB this week.
That's right. He got banged up too. But after he left, they ran like basically every play. So that's part of the reason they were so run heavy. But their ADOT, he left in like the late 3rd or early 4th. I mean, some of this stuff happened before he got hurt as well. But if he's out,
to the Eagles' point, they also had a minus 13% pass rate expected in week 7, but they had a minus 16%, according to Ben Baldwin's site last week, minus 13 the week before. So they're like, this is like kind of their move. And they shifted. That was against the Raiders, which is a run funnel. But against the pass funnel Buccaneers the week before, they had a 1% pass rate of expected, which is like a major downshift. 1% pass rate of expected against the Bucs, which heading into that game, they looked like a really pass-heavy team. So they like move to balanced against the pass funnel. Then they get a couple run funnels, and they go ultra run-heavy. It seems like they're shifting their offensive identity here in a big way. It's not just a one-week thing.
Yeah,
and it feels like they should just be balanced instead of being, extreme one way or the other, just given their personnel and whatnot, and like not completely throwing fields to the wolves.
Barry, DeAndre Swift is like RB4 on the year, Barry.
Yeah.
Also, like, he's an incredible pass catching running back. He's made like a ton of incredible plays, big plays.
Barry, do you make this face when you're watching him? Did you make this face when he had the 60-yard screen pass for a TD against the Rams just 2 weeks ago?
Can we just talk about this comment? How we bring that comment again, please?
Which one?
Barry's comment about watch him do nothing. Just the fact that "do" is not in caps. Like, why? Why
did you stop
is it not in caps?
Yeah, that is.
There's no reason that it shouldn't be in caps. Like,
hey, Barry, when you you really need to offer not financial advice after making a comment like that. Please DYOR. Good God.
I've been asking if Barry is a real person. He is, and like, this is pretty tame.
Oh my goodness.
I feel like Barry should be on Euro trip or something.
Shout out to Frank, our guy, more cowbell. Where's Cliff? I mean, Pat. That's awesome. What's he referencing? Is he referencing? I think he thinks that's your actual new apartment, not a backdrop.
Well, hang on. I'm gonna move real quick.
Let's bring Frank into reality. Show him what's really back there, Pat. Oh, window view.
Oh yeah.
Show
this
is
my new New York apartment.
It's Murphy having ripped apart the couch cushions.
Man, Barry's really going in on Swift. It's just
Swift
not.
had a 64-yard reception on the same play. Didn't even crack 100 yards. So doing the if you throw out his biggest play, he actually averaged 1.3.
What a bum! Yeah, that 64-yard reception, then nothing else.
Frank,
all right, gentlemen, I'm too old. I got to go to bed.
Me too, dude. Me too.
Yeah, actually, me three. I told my kids I'd play with them. I'm not going to bed, but we should.
Why you're on here instead of playing with your kids?
Yeah, I'm just yelling about Sam Darnold.
Pat, do you have any takes you have to get off your chest before we shut this down?
I mean, McNichols isn't, baby.
There you go. Jeremy McNichols.
I wasn't trying to get you guys to shut the whole thing down.
No,
you
we're all.
You fucking ruined it. You showed up and ruined the whole thing for everyone. They were all having a good time. The chat's gonna hate you. I mean, good fucking job, Leone.
Thanks, Leone.
Energy. Yeah, seriously.
Should we get Barry on real quick?
No.
That's dangerous. You guys could get banned from YouTube.
Well, we did crack rock last week. A couple weeks ago. He was talking about sprinkling actual crack.
We're on a hot streak. Let's see how far we can go.
Yeah, let's. I don't need it. I'll shut down this stream whenever I goddamn please, Racif, like I'm doing right now. See you guys next week, assholes.